real estate, housing, it's going higher, and it's going to go higher before you think it's going to go higher. A year ago, mortgage rates went through the floor, under 3% in some areas, and if you had great credit, you get close to, what, 2.25% is what I last saw? But that was a year ago. And because of low interest rates, in that relationship to the 10-year Treasury, which got below 1%, everybody went on a housing boom. They went nuts. Houses went off the market quick because they got snapped up. A year later, the housing boom has started to flatten out. If you look at a year ago, and this is week of July 5th, okay, July 5th of 2021, flashback a year, and housing demand has dropped by 22%. Now, what does that mean? It means there aren't that enough homes on the market to supply the demand. See, there's still demand. There are still people wanting to buy homes because if you think about it, interest rates are still super cheap, but there isn't enough supply. And the reason is because COVID interrupted the supply chain. It interrupted how we got materials, goods, and other things like that. Well, now we are at the peak of lack of materials. It's starting to come back online. We're starting to see lumber costs come down off their highs, all in relation to the US dollar. And we're still seeing the demand. I had lunch today with a friend of mine. She's a real estate agent here, Kim Stanley. I'll leave her information in the comments below. But she was telling me she's got people wanting to buy places, but there is no supply. There's no supply for the properties that these people want. This week I saw some charts, some stats on new mortgage applications, and they had declined by like 1.1% week over week. And you're seeing that decline because people are getting frustrated. There's no supply, I can't afford it, I'm not applying. Price check. Here on the Panhandle, this house right here, just behind this house, that's 1.8 million. 5 years ago, that was maybe $1 million. Housing has gone through the roof. As I was telling Kim Stanley, the real estate agent I had lunch with today, I said, you're gonna get another big move out of real estate. And I'm not just talking here on the Panhandle, I'm talking nationwide. And here's my reasoning. Here's my reasons why real estate is gonna take off again. Probably about 4 or 5 million. It's so ridiculous. It's wood, folks, wood. Number one, interest rates are gonna go lower. Number one, mortgage rates are gonna go lower. 10-year Treasury broke through 1.3%. Now, that may be a form of capitulation, but I think they're gonna stay low. And the main reason for that is because the Federal Reserve is gonna keep interest rates low. See, to keep this economy going, you have to keep money cheap. And since we made money so cheap over the last, year, mortgages, corporate debt has all skyrocketed. So people are deeper in debt now, especially from a corporate standpoint. And if those rates move higher, then that corporate debt's going to cost more. So if that costs more and growth doesn't sustain a trajectory that outruns the cost of that debt, well, then corporations have to fail at some level. The Fed's not going to allow it to happen. More importantly, Biden is not going to allow it to happen. this lot had a house on it. Right there is the beach. They scraped the house. Somebody bought it and scraped the house. And they're gonna build some freaking humongous house on it and probably put it on the market for $6 to $12 million. I know it's a broad range, but chances are they will. Second reason why housing is going to keep going higher is demand. You keep money cheap, you keep the hope alive. The millennial groups, tired of being in apartments, they're going to start buying homes. And so they're going to drive housing higher. Demand is your second reason. You want to know what 1.85 million looks like in the form of dirt? It looks like that. That's a quarter an acre. Just went on the market. It's here on Winston Lane, here in off of 30A, 100 meters from the beach. $1.85 million for a quarter of acre of land. If you want to buy this piece of property, call Kim. Call Kim in my links below. She'll help you buy this quarter acre of land. What this represented to me was the euphoric moment of real estate. That all of a sudden, this quarter acre piece of land could now be worth $1.8 million. Think about it. Most Americans don't have that much to retire on. And if you can borrow the money to buy this, well, you can borrow it cheap. And with low interest rates and low 10-year treasuries and low mortgage rates, you can buy this land pretty cheap. Build a house on it. It's going to cost you probably right now between $200 and $300 a square foot here on this in the Panhandle. But you could turn around and make a ton of money on it as long as that demand's there. And I believe that demand is still there. The reason prices go up is because of supply and the demand. Well, there hasn't been much supply when it comes to housing. So the middle market, that $200 to $400 range, has declined in sales because there's not a lot of supply. I believe that's about to change. I think supply is about to increase, and here's why. 21 states are killing that extra unemployment benefit. Eventually we'll get less benefits, less recovery packages, and you'll see people go back to work. So with money being cheap and demand still being there and potential of supply increasing because lumber costs come down. When lumber costs come down, affordable housing comes into play. That 200 to 400 range becomes more like 350 down to, say, 200. You get that, all of a sudden, that parabolic move up. Doesn't last long, but you get a big pop in the housing market. All that combined, and I think you've got another run at housing. So as you can tell, I'm out walking. People come here to the beach and they go on vacation. And what is the most unseen thing that I see in the people who come here? They never smile. Why the hell would you come to such a beautiful place, go on vacation, spend all this money, and not smile because you're here? I don't get it. You're on vacation. So let's do a final review. Number one, I believe interest rates are going to continue to stay low, and if possible, and I think the Fed will keep pushing interest rates low through their treasury, 10-year treasury buying and their treasuries in general buying, along with their mortgage-backed securities buying. So I believe mortgage rates are going to continue to be low, and if not, make another run to a lower level. Not as low as we saw a year ago, but somewhere where you just can't pass up refinancing your house or buying a new one. Number two, I think demand is going to continue to be strong. A lot of this has to do with the millennials being stuck at home. Chances are we're going to see a baby boom in the next, between now and the next 24 months. And they're going to want to get into homes. and you're going to see that movement to those homes. So the baby boomers start dying off, the millennials start buying their properties, new housing starts to be built because supply, number 3, starts to loosen up, and you start to see more supply of materials come onto the market. We get over this shipping container movement of product from China and overseas back to the US starts to even out, and we start to see new home buildings start, and the prices on those homes will come down a little bit, and we'll see another burst in the housing market. And that's why I am bullish on the housing market. So if you got cash and you got the ability to buy, let it come back a little, pull back a little, and then start looking for good opportunities, because the next opportunity in housing, once we get a exponential burst up, will be renting properties, because foreclosure rates most likely will jump because the forbearance on foreclosures and renters being able to kick out, or rentors being able to kick out renters because they're not paying their bills, will go up, and it'll give you an opportunity for the rental market to start to accelerate. So hopefully this has been helpful. Please hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. YouTube loves it. But most importantly, live your day loud. Always, always live loud. Peace.